Welcome back to Watercolor Theory. Today I'll be going over these three Belted Galloways that I painted. Took the photo here in Longmont, just outside of town. Went on a little drive a couple weeks ago and saw them out in the field. And this composition has been altered a little bit. There were four in the photo originally, and I moved them around a little bit so that the shadows and their bodies would all connect and kind of become one. And I'm pretty happy with it. I did draw a little bit of elements in the background that I decided not to do. I just got to a point in the painting where I said, you know what, I like it the way it is. It wasn't initially intended to be a topic to put on YouTube, but since I always have the camera set up in my studio, I decided to go ahead and film it. Now we'll talk about it. First thing is, I did put it through the scoring system that I've been working on. It's now up to 25 things. And if I take all 25 items, it's worth 25 points. Some of the items are worth 2 points. Some of the items are worth 1. Realistically, many of them could be worth 0 if they're not important to you. So that list is customizable. I just have to figure out a way to get it to people. But I will show that on the screen now. And so out of a possible 25, this scored 18 points, which is 72%. Yeah, that's a C. Which in the case of this, a C grade is a go. And then, so the takeaways this week include some of the items from that list. The first one does not, but the first takeaway is takeaway number 1, using cauliflower as an advantage rather than a disadvantage. I've talked about this in other videos before, that people look at cauliflower as a bad thing, or that it gets spoken of that way. And it can be, but if you're making it a part of your routine. I mean, I've got a fuzzy cow here. So if I drop a little bit of, say, neutral tint into the color, it makes a little cauliflower in the body of the cow. It's fur, you know? So I utilized it a little bit in the mom cow. Didn't use it in the ground a lot, but I have in other paintings. And it just gives a nice organic shape. And if your colors aren't too far apart, it kind of looks like it was expected. Sometimes if it's in a high contrast situation, like you've got, blue sky, and then suddenly you've got this tree that's, cauliflowered into it in a weird pattern, that can be bad. But in this case, controlled cauliflower is good. Takeaway number 2, connections of shadows and bodies. So there are 2 elements on the list that I'm thinking of maybe becoming one, but I'm keeping them separate right now because I'm trying to figure out if there is a distinction. One of them is connect your darks. Have your darks connect throughout the painting, and that lends an element of cohesion. It's not all broken up. But then there's also having your shadows connect to the shadow part of an object connecting to its cast shadow. And I don't usually do things with really strong cast shadows. These guys have very strong cast shadows, and it helps with the lost edges. Their heads kind of disappear into their bodies or into the shade. So I do have those 2 separated right now, and I might keep it that way unless I find that there's not an argument for it to be split the way it is. So that's number 2, having everything connected by the darks. And I don't know. Takeaway number 3. Now, this painting was just a spontaneous painting. I didn't design it and think, oh, I should put this on YouTube, but I thought, well, I should at least turn the camera on. So I didn't really plan it out as far as putting in different elements. I mean, it did score a 72% on the list, but it doesn't have a vertical element in it. I did sketch in some trees in the background, but I decided not to pursue them. So those things could have helped re-reviewing it in the checklist, but it takes me to takeaway number 4. Sometimes you just got to walk away. Sometimes the painting just tells you, you know what, I'm done. And somebody might look at this and say, oh, it's missing a lot of things. Or somebody might say, it's great. But in the end, it matters what I say as the artist. So I just was like, I'm done. And my wife looked at it. She was like, oh, really? So, and sometimes that's a good thing. You don't overwork it. It's just you got what you needed to get done. And later down the road, maybe I'll do another one where it's more of a farm scene. And then this kind of gets maybe categorized more as a color study. But I just was inspired by the cows and decided to paint them. And then takeaway number 5 is you are the composer. ties into number 4, not, not overdoing it. You're in control, and you are the composer is also moving objects around. The photo reference, which I'll include, had 4 cows in it, the mama cow and then 3 calves. And I didn't want an even number of elements for one. So I took one of them out and then moved one of them down. So this little guy was up a little higher, and then there was another one in the background. And so I just kind of moved everybody around a little bit so that it would connect the shadows together. So that's, composing the composition, putting it together in a way that works for the vision. And then speaking of vision, I'm part of a Facebook group called Photo Reference for Landscape Artists. And a lot of people will put requests on there. Does anybody have blah, blah, blah with long cast shadows or, golden hour, this or that? And granted, I look for that stuff, but you come to a point where you have to say, I'm either got to work with the photo I have, or I got to work from my head and learn where to put in shadows and make your own cast shadows. And that goes back to drawing and being able to say, okay, here's a building. And then it would cast a shadow like this, and then the tree next to it. So sometimes we sell ourselves short by just going off of what the reference has given us. And so depending on where you are in your journey, though, that's up to you when you decide that you want to move on to that next level. Like for me, these cows don't show up, but my next video will be a woman, a Vietnamese flower merchant. And so she's carrying some objects because I said to myself, I'm tired of not painting people, or I'm tired of not painting, scenes of downtown areas in different cities or wherever with people in them. I mean, if I was to paint a picture of a city scene, you would think it was COVID again because there's no people in it. And that doesn't tell a good story. It's not, most of the places where people want to go that are, say, tourist destinations, which I love, they need people in them to help tell that story that they are popular. So that's my challenge. And I'm not sure what yours is, but I hope that tuning into this channel will help you get through that challenge. And speaking of challenges, last I checked, I'm at 68 subscribers. So thank you very much to those 68 of you who have subscribed. So please subscribe, help me out getting the word out. When you hit subscribe, it shares my channel with other people that have similar tastes to yourself. And it just gets the word out so that I can continue to do this for the next 20 years or whatever it is. But right now I'm in that building stage and I really need your help. Just hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a penny. Whether I have 68 subscribers or 6,800 subscribers, it doesn't cost you anything, but it lets me know that I'm on the right track, getting you content that helps you. Another thing to get content that helps you is leave a comment. Compliments are great, but something interactive. Hey, can you paint one of these? Or hey, I just emailed you a painting or a photograph. Would you mind painting it? Or how would you tackle it? Tim Wilmot, who has been painting for a very long time on YouTube, great painter. We don't have the same style, but I like his style. He has people send in a thing. How would you paint this? And so I would like to do that as well. So send me a photo. My email, jasontaitinger@gmail.com. It's a little hard to spell, but you can find it in the description below. And I really would love to be able to take something from one of my viewers, subscriber or not, and bring that to life for you. So again, jasontaitinger@gmail.com. And that should end up the video. And thanks for tuning in and have a great day.